Welcome to the Self-Reliant Living Show, where we talk all about a self-reliant lifestyle to save money, live greener, eat healthier, and be prepared for anything so you can take care of the ones you love in good times and bad. I'm your host, Jennifer Osech, a homeschooling mom of 3 boys. I'm the author of the Preparedness Planner series, and my husband and I are the lead teachers of Self-Reliant School, a website dedicated to giving you the skills and confidence to take care of yourself and your community. Be sure to stop by and pick up your free videos from inside Self-Reliant School that will get you started growing, cooking, and preserving your own food today. You can pick these up at selfreliantschool.com/free. Now, on with the show. And so we have, like I said, a great guest today. If you were here just a little bit earlier, coming in, hi Deborah, then you know that she has really saved me from being in a pickle. And I'm going to read her bio. I always like to read bios of my guests because I don't want to get anything wrong. And I also want to let you guys know what a wonderful person she is. So our guest today is Kami McBride, and she is the author of the Herbal Kitchen. She is a clinical herbalist graduate of the Southwest School of Botanical Studies and has developed and taught herbal curriculum for the Complementary and Alternative Medicine Department at the University of California of San Francisco School of Nursing. So you see, that's why I really wanted her here, because she is so much more qualified than I am to talk about this stuff. I love to share what I'm doing with you, but Kami is going to really give us some authority and let us know exactly what we can be doing with herbs. Over the past 25 years, she has helped thousands of families learn to use herbs and natural remedies so they can be more self-reliant in their healthcare needs. She is the author of Herbal Kitchen Remedy Solutions, an online course that demystifies the world of herbal medicine and empowers people to use their herb garden for herbal self-care in the home to prevent illness and take care of common ailments. So wow, yes, she is an expert. You can find her at livingawareness.com. And so we're just going to bring her on. I want to say really quick before I do that though, I have my notes in front of me. I'm talking to you on this camera, and then I'm also monitoring your comments down here on a different device. So if I'm looking all around, I just want you to know that I'm really looking at you guys and making sure we're going okay. So I just want to make sure that you know that, because I know that when I'm looking at a video and somebody's not looking straight into the camera, I'm going, what's wrong with this person? But I want you to know what I'm doing. So welcome, Kami.
Hey Jennifer, good to be here.
Yeah, thank you
so excited.
Thank you so much. You are just like a lifesaver, and I just I am so thrilled that you are here. So I know we have a bunch of things to cover, so I am just going to jump into it if that's okay with you.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your mission for people who do not know who you are?
Yeah, well, so when I was 19, actually, I developed a really severe side effect from taking a prescription medication, and I had to have surgery. And I realized, and it was a really big deal at that time in my life, and it really opened my eyes that medications have side effects. And I started at a very young age to pay attention to the fact that all of my elders were on medication, and I actually started reading that little paper that has all the little side effects. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
If you're going to take a medication, you actually want to read that.
Yes.
And so I asked this question: isn't there another way? And it just put me. I started studying herbal medicine when I was 23 years old, and I was just really, really passionate to help people avoid what had happened to me, of just not even having an idea of how over-the-counter or prescription medications can just disrupt so many things. And so I've just been so passionate about this really my whole life, to help empower other people to have access to everything. I mean, sometimes we need medication, but we want to put everything on the table, and we want to use herbs and natural remedies to take care of the small stuff.
Yes,
The
exactly.
medications for when we really need them.
Yeah, and so this would be a really good time to say that if you do need to seek medical help, to please do that, and that we are talking about this for informational purposes. So please, if you are sick or you are not feeling well, please go and see a doctor. We are talking about prevention here, and then we're also talking about how to curb some symptoms of viruses and whatnot. But if you are really, really ill where you need to seek medical attention, then please do that immediately. Then let me just go ahead and ask you if you could tell us, you alluded to this a little bit, with the first question that I asked you, but what are the benefits of using herbs for medicinal purposes? I mean, I know there has to be a ton of them. I can think of 4 or 5 right off the bat, but can you tell us, because I know that you have been in this like almost all of your life.
Right. Well, the herbs, like again, I'm really big in getting diagnoses and saving. And if you're on medication, it's not a bad thing. It's but to really look at if you have something going on, see if there's an herb that can help you. And also, what the herbs do best is they help with prevention. If you learn, and I'm really big on helping you learn how to use your common kitchen herbs and spices to prevent illness before it starts. And so being able to have an awareness of when something's maybe a little off, when you just don't feel quite right, and being able to use your kitchen spices to alleviate something before it begins. So prevention is the biggest thing for me when it comes to using your culinary herbs, especially.
Yes. Okay, so if somebody is overwhelmed and they just don't know where to start, could you take us back to baby steps in terms of starting to use herbs and starting to use them, the best way?
Right. Well, it is overwhelming. I mean, when I started studying 30 years ago, there were like 4 herb books. Now there's like 400, and you go online and it's like everybody's talking about herbs on the, and it's overwhelming to sift through all of the conflicting information, really. And so I like to go way back to the beginning instead of looking to suppress symptoms. But most of us were raised with a symptom suppressive mindset. You have this problem, you take this pill, get rid of it. So I want to go way back to like using your herbs and spices every day as part of your food, and that is one of the best pillars of self-care that you can do. That's a very, very beginning place. So what I'm talking about is learning the medicinal uses of herbs and spices that you already have in your kitchen and that you already have a connection with, because you're going to learn more instead of trying to learn all the new herbs that you've never heard of, like whatever. I want you to, where you can start is with 1 or 2 herbs or spices that you already totally love. Like, do you love garlic, or do you love basil in your spaghetti? Like, what are a couple herbs and spices that you're totally connected with already, and then really learn about those.
Well, but that leads me to my next question, because you're talking about garlic. Okay, so I eat garlic because I like the taste. So how is that different from using it medicinally? I mean, are they the same? Is there overlap? How do you use it for one and not the other, or do you use it for both? How does that work?
Okay, I love that question. That's my favorite question. Because the thing is that all of the herbs and spices in your kitchen right now that are, whether it just be black pepper or garlic, they're culinary. You use them for flavor. Like you just said, you love the flavor, right? You love the taste. But that's not really why they're there. They're there. I mean, they're there for flavor, but really those herbs and spices made it into your kitchen because they're carminative herbs. That's carminative, C-A-R-M-I-N-A-T-I-V-E. And carminative herbs and spices, what they do is they help you digest your food. So even though they're culinary flavor herbs, they are medicinal. And that is what is so cool about really getting to know your spice rack herbs that you love, is that when you use them, you are using herbal medicine every day in every meal.
Wow, yeah, that's great. Well, can you tell us if what if I don't like garlic, and what if there is? I mean, I do, so I can't imagine, but I'm sure there are some people out there that they don't like garlic or pepper or whatever. Does that mean that that's, they're going to have a side effect if they go ahead and put it in their food or use it? What are your thoughts on that?
Right. So this is where I go back to find the herb or spice that you have an emotional connection with. Like, is it cinnamon on your oatmeal? Is it cloves when your mom used to bake cookies? Is it the dill in your grandma's potato salad? What is the herb or spice that you actually feel an emotional or a heritage connection to? Even better. Like, does your grandma make mole with a little bit of clove in it? What are the herbs and spices that are your heritage connection that maybe you grew up with, and then learn about that? And the thing is that those herbs and spices, see, what they do is they help you to digest your food. And that is one of the biggest components of benefit from using herbs and spices and the medicinal use of it. Because what you do every day is you have to turn your food into you. I mean, you're into growing your own food, right? We're all into healthy. We spend a lot of energy growing that food, harvesting it, processing it, drying it, freeze dry, like all the cool things that you do, the amazing art that you are reclaiming for people, helping to people reclaim. It takes a lot of work, right?
Yeah, it does.
But it's cool. It's fun. It's a good, I wouldn't trade it for anything. However, the job is not done there. You now have to take that food and turn it into you. You have to digest it. Digestion takes so much energy. It's huge.
Yeah.
And it uses your energy every day. And the thing about the herbs and spices in your kitchen cabinet, they help you to digest your food. And so this daunting task of turning your garden into you have these helper spices that help. They are actually the bridge to digesting the nutrition in your food.
Wow. That makes so much sense to me because, one of the things that's hard for me to figure out is that, there are multiple herbs and spices that will do the same things. They will help with the same ailments or whatever. But that makes so much sense when you're saying, well, pick the ones that taste good to you because those are the ones that are going to help you. That makes so much sense. And it just... it shows you the big picture of God's design too, because that just, it's a natural thing. And that is really, I hadn't thought about it quite like that, but that is really true. And then turning them into you. I love that.
That's your body speaking.
Yes.
When you're attracted to something, because there's so much herbal medicine out there, it's like, oh, I should take this. I mean, do you have like, oh, I know this is good for me, I should take this, right?
Yeah.
But what you want to do is go for what you love and what you're attracted to, because that is your body speaking and communicating with the earth and the plants.
Yes. That like I said, that's an aha moment for me, because that really does make a lot of sense. Okay, good. So can you tell us, what if we can't grow our own herbs? The difference between fresh and dried, and what that would mean if we used, one or the other.
Yeah, fresh herbs are incredible if you can get them, if you have them, especially if you can grow something that's perennial that you can have all year, but it just really depends on where you live. So if you have fresh, great. If you don't have fresh, dried herbs, especially recently dried herbs that are not older than a year, spices that are not older than 2 years old are totally, totally fine and highly medicinal. And there's great resources of where you can get those, like mountain rose herbs. And so they're both as effective.
Okay, so now I know a specialty of yours is using culinary herbs, because you've already got a lot of those in your kitchen. So could you expand on that a little bit and tell us, what are some of the possibilities?
Right. So again, you want to really realize that those herbs and spices are there for more than flavor, that they're there because they're carminative. And what you really want to know is that you need a carminative at every meal. Okay, so just take that note. Okay. Take that note. And see, this is the problem with the junk food, the fast food, the packaged food, is they add chemicals for flavor. And again, the tradition all over the world is that the herbs and spices are the bridge to your nutrition. And so when you don't have them in your food, then you know what? You get a lot more tired after you eat that food because you didn't have any help. And so the herbs and spices, what they are is they're the gift of energy to you because they free up your energy. I mean, have you, every culture, every medicine, holistic medicine culture in the world teaches us that we need to eat lighter if we don't feel well, right?
Right.
It's because digestion uses so much energy. And so if we know that, let's just help digestion at every meal.
Wow, that's great. I love that advice. Can you tell us a little bit, because you're, my mentor in this field, and like I said, I was telling a story before we actually started this show about how what kind of person Kami is, because I was in a pickle about this show, and I asked her really last minute, hey, can you come on? And she's like, oh, sure. No problem. And here she is. But can you tell us a little bit more about how you teach this? Because I know you have a class all about culinary herbs. And so can you tell us about that class and how you teach people this?
Yeah, so I have my online course is Herbal Kitchen Remedy Solutions. Actually, enrollment is open right this minute. And yeah, what I do is I start you step by step, and so it's about your connection and relationship to the plants. Then it's about the techniques, like learning how to actually make teas, make honeys, make different techniques, and then it's really about knowing getting it out. So my favorite kitchen gadget is a Lazy Susan, and I really teach you how to get your herbs and spices out of your kitchen cabinet and onto your table, so that the garden that you turn your garden into your pharmacy on your kitchen table. So this is about creating a kitchen culture that is steeped in prevention, and that the herbal medicine just is part of what you do all the time.
Yeah. Well, if somebody wanted to take this class, do they need like special tools? Do they need to go and buy a bunch of stuff? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I've been teaching herbal medicine for 25 years, and one of the biggest things that I'm really focused on is making it easy and simple, because at first it was really complicated for me. And so I've gotten really good at refining things so that you need your stove, you need your water, and you need some honey. And you can do this I've created this course so it's the most simple way, and really it's focused on it also needs to be yummy, right? And it also needs to be done in a way that your kids like it, and you can get your kids on board, because what we're doing is we're trying to raise up the next generation so that they can be health literate and not have to start from scratch like we're all having to do, right? So that it's just who they are and who they grow up with. So I have a really, really big focus on getting our kids involved in this whole process.
Yes. Yeah. I love the fact that you don't have to go out and get a chemistry set to start doing this. I mean, that is really a plus, because there's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of things that people want you to buy here and there. And I know that when you're first starting something, you just want to kind of dip your toe in and see how it goes. So I really love that you start just with what you have, and that is great. Do you have a favorite recipe? Because I know that you have talked about a favorite recipe that you would like to share. And so is there one that you could tell us about?
Okay, yes, and we're going for simple here, super simple. So my book is the Herbal Kitchen. I'm a recipe queen. I have over 250 recipes in there to use from your spice rack. And what I like to do is, again, I'm really focused on digestion, because, again, more than 60% of our immune cells are clustered in our digestive tract. And if we want to talk about building immunity, we focus on digestion. So I have a really good morning herbal tea that wakes up the digestive tract in a really gentle way for your morning meal. And what you do is you get 2 cups of water, and you get a half a teaspoon of cumin, and a half a teaspoon of coriander straight out of your kitchen cupboard, and a half a teaspoon of fennel seed. And you put that in the water, you bring it to a boil, you with the lid on, you turn it off, and you let it sit for 10-15 minutes, and then you warm it and you drink that. And it's really, what it does is it activates the digestive tract, so that your first meal, you will be energized after you eat it, because you're going to have because you've just primed your pump. It's a great morning wake up tea.
Yeah. So, and you're talking about this whole time prevention and actually building up your immune system. Well, if somebody maybe they were sick 4 or 5 times last year, and they really want to be proactive this year with the, winter is coming, because if you're watching this and you're overseas or something, but we're in the States and winter is on its way. So what can people do specifically to build up their immune system?
So again, one of focusing on healthy digestion and supporting digestion, because again, our immune system is clustered in the digestive tract. And if you find that you're, have digestive upset, or if you're developing mucus, 8 times out of 10, developing mucus or congestion is a result of not digesting our food well. And then it putrefies and forms into mucus and snot.
Ugh, yes.
So you want to avoid that. So you absolutely want to start having a carminative with every meal and drinking. That's why I gave this recipe, because it supports the digestion. We're used to quick fixes, take this for that. But if you just do these little digestive support tools every day, it adds up over time. And if you support your digestion every day, day in and day out, then you're going to support where all those immune cells are clustered and really have a much more effective and capable immune system.
So if you, could you give us like a kind of a picture, kind of a, an idea of what the common herbs that you work with, so that people can say, yeah, I've got that one, I've got that one, I've got that one, and really drive home the fact that you don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. What you can work with is really what you probably already have in your kitchen.
Okay, you nailed it. You've so nailed it. Because again, you go online and it's like there's a lot of herbal supplements to buy, aren't there?
Yes, there are.
And this is about saving money and really doing it yourself, and doing it yourself at such a higher quality. And so if you go over to your kitchen cupboard right now and look in there, and those are the herbs and spices. So ginger and cinnamon, you can make a tea with those 2 spices right in your cupboard, and they're not only going to help you with digestion, but they're going to help prevent cold. The other thing about all the spices in your cabinet is they're highly antimicrobial, and they help to prevent colds. Isn't that awesome?
Oh yeah. Misty is saying that she loves the garlic and honey recipes. So just yeah, I do too. That I think that garlic, because last year, like I said, I've been really delving into alternative medicine and working with herbs. And I think last year garlic really helped me, because everybody in my family except for me, knock on wood, right, was sick multiple times, and I was not. So I really think there was something there, because you always, when you're doing something new, you always try and work on yourself a little bit, before you administer to your children, right? But that's what I was doing last year, and I really did notice that, and I was thrilled. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, where has this been all my life? It's so simple, right? But you've been doing this for so long. You were doing this before it was sort of in vogue, because like, we were just talking about, everybody's writing about this now, but you were doing this when it wasn't as popular. So, and I know you talked about a little bit, about your history and what happened to you when you were younger, but could you just tell us a little bit more about your story?
Yeah, again, there was, when I started getting interested in this, there wasn't a reflection in the world. So it's so fantastic that there's a reflection in the world, that this is normal and natural and just how we live. And I remember I had just graduated from college. My dad got me this a job, basically, that in the 80s, I was going to make $14 an hour with benefits. And I was like, sorry, I'm going on a backpacking trip where I'm going to identify the edible plants for 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't take the job. My dad didn't talk to me for 6 months. And my grandfather sat me down and said, you have a college education. What are you doing? And I just couldn't help myself. And so this whole thing of like, follow your heart, follow your passion, follow what wells up in your being. It is so true. I was scolded kind of at every turn by my family, but I couldn't help but follow my connection to the plants. And so that's really the wisdom for, I didn't know that I was doing that at that time. I hadn't heard Follow Your Bliss yet. But to allow yourself to be called by something and to follow that calling, even if people around you are not supporting you in that. And I was called by the plants. I feel them. I love them. I love the plants so much.
Yeah. Yeah, and my boys and I talk about that, about them being alive and living, and there's so much truth in that, and so, you know, and I have a dad like that too, so I know where you're coming from. So can you tell us where to find out more about you? Because it's just been wonderful to have you here. You're such a wealth of knowledge. I'm so grateful that we were able to scramble and get this together. But could you tell people where to find you, and you know, your website, where they can connect with you on social media?
Yeah, thank you. And I also just want to say I love what you're doing. I love, you know, the revitalization of these home skills, because it's in the home is where culture begins, and we change the culture when we do this work. And so people can find me at livingawareness.com, www.livingawareness.com, and also my course, Herbal Kitchen Remedy Solutions.com, where I can help you easily learn how to use your kitchen herbs and spices to take care of everyday ailments and prevent illness. And I'm just so grateful that there is a movement now to a home wellness culture that is really taking hold, because it's what we need.
Yes, I just totally agree. Thank you so much for joining us, Kami.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Okay, so guys, before I let you go, I just want to remind you, if you had watched last week, we talked about my new dehydrating book that just came out. It's Dehydrating Charts and Basic Methods. So if you go to selfreliantschool.com/dryfood, you can pick up a copy, and that is something I worked quite a while on. It actually has a conversion chart between dehydrated food and fresh food. So that's something that I have not seen before, and I did all of those conversions myself, and so I'm hoping that will help you out in when you're dehydrating. So I want you to know that, like I said, Kami McBride was here, and we have a special link if you would like to know more about her and what she does. She actually has a free mini course, and you can go to selfreliantschool.com/kitchen spices, and you'll be taken right there, and you can take her course and you can see what she's all about and learn a lot, because that free course has a ton of content in it. And so that is something that I have gone through myself, and I highly recommend that you do the same, because that will give you a great start to learning about herbs. So if you are joining us in the middle of the show, or did join us in the middle of the show, because we're now kind of at the end now, right? My name is Jennifer, and I am from selfreliantschool.com. We have been talking to Kami McBride, and she is from Living Awareness, and we have a special link that will be in the show notes so that you can get her free course, like I said, which is awesome. And so I am so grateful that she was able to come to talk to us today. So remember, being self-reliant is not about being selfish, and it's not just about you. It's about taking care of yourself so you can take care of the ones that you love. Take care until we talk again. I'm so glad you could join me today. Here's what to do next. Head over to selfreliantlife.tv to pick up the show notes for this episode and to watch replays of older episodes. To go directly to the show notes for this episode, go to selfreliantlife.tv, and then without a space, type a / and then the number of today's episode. You can watch this show live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, live on Facebook or the Periscope app. Don't forget to stop by selfreliantschool.com/free to get your free Self-Reliant School videos that will help you get started living a self-reliant life. Also, if you're listening to this show as a podcast and you've liked what you've heard today, please subscribe through Stitcher, iTunes, or your favorite podcast app. If you're on a mobile device, just search for the Self-Reliant Living Show. If you're on a laptop or desktop, just go to selfreliantlife.tv/iTunes. And while you're there, please leave a review. I love to hear from you. You leaving feedback makes it easier for others that are interested in living a self-reliant life to find my podcast. Take care until we talk again.